What's up, guys? Welcome to the very first episode, the debut episode of NBA Super Teams Volume Number 1. And this is a series where I basically draft players from a fantasy draft, and I create super teams, and I use custom rosters. Professor 2K is the roster I usually use, but I change it up a little bit. And I create super teams, and I face them off against other super teams. It's a little different take on 2K. It's my favorite mode by far. I've created hundreds of these teams, so I thought might as well record it, and let's see what happens. I picked the Minnesota Timberwolves just because I just picked a random team. And the first pick of the draft for me will be Larry Bird, Larry Legend, one of the greatest small forwards ever. I mean, at this point, it's probably looking like LeBron to be the greatest small forward ever, but we'll see what happens. Anthony Davis at number 2 and Russell Westbrook at number 3. As you can see, this team is definitely coming together. Klay Thompson at number 4. I mean, this team is looking pretty strong, if you ask me. Yes, I had the option of picking Michael Jordan. I did give myself the first pick in the draft just to give myself some creativity, some freedom, and this is what I came up with. So it's Russell Westbrook, Klay Thompson, Larry Bird, Anthony Davis, DeAndre Jordan. Then I have Rip Hamilton coming off the bench, Gilbert Arenas, Greg Monroe, Brook Lopez, Tyreke Evans. I mean, the list goes on even past that. Just really cool to see what I can do with these teams. I mean, you have a guy like Brook Lopez, a starting caliber center, coming off the bench. Wesley Matthews, Goran Dragic, and Wally Szczerbiak from way back in the day. Ironic that I got him. Not ironic. Appropriate, I would say, that I got him on the Minnesota Timberwolves. But we are facing against the other team, the Portland Trailblazers. And as I mentioned, these are super teams. So, Walt Frazier, Dwyane Wade, obviously now in Chicago, Carmelo Anthony, Josh Smith, Al Jefferson, Mike Bibby, Tony Allen, Nikolai Vucevic, Rick Fox. It goes on and on. But a pretty crazy team versus another pretty crazy team. I want to keep the lineups in either a separate form or somewhere in the description just to, keep you guys remembering. I know that there's so many different players on so many different positions, but we're going to make this work. I think this will be a lot of fun, and let's see what happens. As you see, they're announcing the starting 5 in Minnesota. It looks pretty interesting to see. I gotta say, I use the old school jerseys. You have DeAndre Jordan coming off. I mean, he is a first team all NBA player is DeAndre Jordan, and that's pretty awesome if you ask me. And as you see, the game is about to begin. There's going to be some pretty interesting matchups. I mean, I have Klay Thompson on Dwyane Wade. That should be a really good matchup because Klay Thompson is a beast. And by the way, this is Dwyane Wade at the younger version, not the common or not the current Dwyane Wade. I'm talking Dwyane Wade at about 23, 24 years old. So should be a pretty interesting matchup for sure as we go ahead and go right into the tip-off between Al Jefferson and DeAndre Jordan. One of the first plays of the game, I go ahead and do a quick pick and roll with Anthony Davis and Russell Westbrook. I mean, that connection is just absolutely monstrous as we see Dwyane Wade doing what Dwyane Wade does. But let me go into this team really quick before we get into the game. As you see, Carmelo Anthony, I mean, just running a screen and getting wide open, that's just how it works. This team is pretty crazy. Any team that is assembled in this mode is pretty intense. So I use Russell Westbrook along with Anthony Davis a lot because I think that's just a monstrous of a 1-2. But I also use a guy named Larry Bird. And if you guys can remember, he was my number 1 pick, right? There's a reason for that. You take Larry Bird at 6'9", you take Russell Westbrook, you run and pick and pop, and can they ever be stopped is a legitimate question. And this game kind of proved that no, they can't be stopped. That's, by the way, Gilbert Arenas at the 1 position. There is a custom Gilbert Arenas that fans have made. This is not the official 2K version. There isn't an official 2K version, as you see him going right into the paint with a nice little layup. 20-17 is the score. We are still in the first quarter. I try to do something over here. I get the ball taken away from me twice by Nene, and they're going to pass it off to Tony Allen, who just gets destroyed. I don't even know what to say about this. This is ridiculous. Yeah, there might have been some clipping in this little, with his arm going through his arm. But at the end of the day, this wasn't even a block. This was just a rebound. That's all it was. It was just a rebound. So I'll take it. That's just awesome. Gotta love stuff like that. But we're still losing by 1 point with 10 seconds left to go. And just Another block. Did I mention this is on Hall of Fame? Yeah, it is on Hall of Fame. So we're playing against some pretty strong teams on a pretty strong difficulty. And by the way, we are still not in the second half. We just finished it there. That's 3 blocks in a row. You gotta love the defense. I'm a huge fan of it, and I love it every time I see it. But back to the idea of the pick and pop between Larry Bird and Russell Westbrook. As you can see over here, a pick, a pop, and a perfect release. 90% of the time, that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to go down. Because Larry Bird is a beast at the mid-range jumper. He's a beast at any jumper. And there he's just posting up Dwyane Wade. I mean, Dwyane Wade, one of the greats, but Larry Bird, much bigger and much more effective. Another perfect release with Larry Bird. Is it just me, or I love this guy's release? A beautiful block on Dwyane Wade. Again, 29-32 is the score. We are in the second half, or the second quarter, and Larry Bird just launches a deep 3 with no regard. I mean, it doesn't matter. He has limitless range, no doubt, and that's going to go in 99% of the time. 40-44. We're still up barely by 4 points. I'm looking to bring up the ball. The defense just isn't there, lacks defense, and I use that thumbstick to the right and or to the left actually for a left-handed dunk with Tyreke Evans. You gotta love stuff like that. I as a 2K player, I've learned to evolve and use different things. And this game is very weird. There's a lot of intricacies that go into 2K. It's a very smart game. As you see this just monstrous screen set on Carmelo Anthony, leading to the crazy miss and a pickup by Anthony Davis. I love hustle plays like that. This is clearly a mismatch between Al Jefferson and Russell Westbrook. Just takes him off the dribble, and easy points for Russell Westbrook. And Carmelo Anthony looking to make something happen, going right around Larry Bird, who, by the way, is a great perimeter defender. He doesn't really get enough credit as being a great defender. But man, Larry Legend could guard someone if he wanted to. But yes, 64-66 is the score currently. We are in the third quarter. 3 minutes left to go in the third. They're passing it off to Josh Smith. By the way, this is a better Josh Smith. This is like an 88 overall rated Josh Smith at the height of his career. So, I mean, he's doing these crazy things in the post, and we're having a hard time stopping it. But I'm using Gilbert Arenas, just going right around the defender and getting that dunk in the lane. Gotta love it. 1 point game. This has been a close game throughout, but keep in mind, these are super teams that we're playing with, not normal teams. These are super fantasy teams. So the very fact that we're even competing is pretty good. But then again, we do have Larry Legend on the team and Russell Westbrook. Check out this beautiful, nice little slow motion replay. This is what happens in basketball, folks. If you like football, there's a lot of similarities. You run the pick and you explode through the hole as a point guard, especially a guy like Russell Westbrook. He's going to take advantage of that, and that's just easy money for him 90% of the time. Here, yet another pick, passing it right off for an and one. Beautiful basketball. That's how it's done. And like I mentioned, Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, key combo for those easy buckets. And we are leading only by 3 points as Anthony Davis gets a beautiful and one. As you see, he's just going nuts. Anthony Davis cannot be stopped. By the way, 23 points so far and 7 rebounds for Anthony Davis. Not bad at all. But they give it off to Josh Smith, and he makes a nice little layup. 3 minutes left to go in the game. A 4-point game as Russell Westbrook misses it, but Anthony Davis for another point and another rebound. I thought, this team is pretty stacked. I didn't really know who would be good and who would be bad, but it turns out Anthony Davis is absolutely destroying it. Klay Thompson with a huge 3 to bring us up by 9 points, but they get it back into Al Jefferson, and now it is only a 7-point game. I don't know what happened over here. Walt Frazier just straight up fell on the ground, but we ended up getting a quick foul on that. He makes both free throws, and that sinks the game. Not as hard as I expected it to be, but this game got really close on multiple occasions. Just a mishmash of players, 2 super teams going at it for the victory, and we end up taking the W with 7 points. Player of the game, Anthony Davis, 26, 8, and 1. I really expected it to be Larry Legend. He had a great game as well. And so did Russell Westbrook. I think Russell Westbrook had like 14 assists or something, as you see. No, he had 10 points and he has 17 points and 10 assists. Still a double-double. Larry Legend with 19 and 5. I mean, but then again, you look at it, Anthony Davis, 10 of 11 shooting, could not be stopped. Either way, guys, I want to thank you for tuning in and sticking with me with this fun little Super Teams Volume Number 1. I have done a million of these, and if you'd like, I can definitely do some other teams with some other players and post that in the future. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, a short little video. And if you could, leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you very soon in my next video.